Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Throne of the Primes from Transformers Power of the Primes. This was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. I was not able to attend SDCC, but luckily Hasbro Toy Shop puts these up about a month after the show and then just kind of sells till their supply runs out. I think they might have even made more. But very excited to get my hands on this. You can probably tell that this is a repaint slash remold of the Optimal Optimus mold, which I still haven't found. So this is actually my first exposure to this mold. So at least I'm getting one version of it. But yeah, it looks really neat. As you can see, it's just the Optimal Optimus sitting on this giant cardboard throne that's included. It looks pretty cool. He has this giant scepter, which you can plug 4 different Prime Masters in. Kind of reminds me of the Chip Square from Galaxy Force. You can see there are 2 more Prime Masters in the back, and there's one here. I think it comes with 4. I just don't know where the other one is hiding, so I'll have to check it out when I open up this packaging. But yeah, and I don't know if this guy's from the comics or not. I apologize, I'm nowhere near caught up on the comics. But to me, it just looks like a Optimus Primal repaint of Optimal Optimus, if that makes sense. So again, I don't know if that was used somewhere in some fiction and I just missed it. But either way, I think it looks really cool. Now you can see on the side of the box here, it shows 4 different Prime Masters. So I think he comes with 4, but again, I'll have to check. And then it shows you all the other ones down here on the bottom. And then just some really awesome artwork here on the back. I mean, that looks really, really cool. I like that quite a bit. Turn this around. Not really anything going on the top. Giant Maximal symbol there on the bottom. So definitely some pretty awesome packaging. I will definitely be keeping this packaging. So let's go ahead, let's get this guy out of the box and we'll take a closer look. I just wanted to point out real quick before we get to all his accessories and everything that you can totally keep this throne. There are some plastic pieces that he's actually tied into, you know, just for stability while they ship the product. But once you cut all that stuff away, you do get the throne. Now, I believe you can take it out, like, right at the bottom of the throne and the sides, and have it, if you just want that on the shelf by itself. But I kind of like the backdrop, so I'm going to keep it in here. And once you cut those plastic things away, he can just sit right on there. Looks great. And I want to focus on this wheel in the back, because earlier I mentioned, you know, you can only see 2 of the Prime Masters in there. This actually spins around. So when you spin around, there was a 3rd one in there. So we'll get to that. But it's actually meant to hold all the Prime Masters you already have. So you could transform them all and load them into this thing. And, you know, it spins around. I think that's a really neat idea. So he literally can wield all of the Prime Masters. And I'm personally not going to show you right now just because I don't have them all handy. But I just think that's really neat. And I think that's a cool little extra feature. You're kind of getting almost like a diorama with the figure. I don't know. I just think that's kind of neat. It's a shame you can't see all 13 of the Prime Masters at once, but I still think it's a pretty cool little feature. And just it's really going to make a really nice display piece. So I think that's really cool. But you can just have them sit right on there. And I think that looks pretty neat. Alright, so here's the figure with all the accessories that he comes with. And if you're familiar with the normal Optimal Optimus mold, as far as I can see, it's exactly the same, just repainted, but it's a really nice repaint. Here is the card that he comes with. And you can see it's that really nice artwork from the back of the packaging there. I like that quite a bit. He is just called Optimal Optimus, so I don't know if the normal Optimal Optimus acquires these powers and that changes his colors, or if he's a clone or something. I'm not really sure. Optimal Optimus. The Matrix of Leadership chooses Optimus Primal to be its next bearer. With the increased strength and wisdom bestowed upon him by the Matrix, Optimus Primal evolves to Optimal Optimus and leads Cybertron into a new era. So I guess this is just supposed to be the normal Optimal Optimus, and, you know, he just has this staff and he becomes he gets the crown and everything, so I don't know. I guess this is more like a comics or something variation, whereas the normal Optimal Optimus version of this toy is the cartoon version. Again, I mean, you can always make up your own headcanon. I'm kind of thinking, and this is something I kind of just came up with, we have Nemesis Prime, we have Rodimus Unicronus, both black versions of, you know, toys that we already have, evil versions, and since this is kind of a primarily black version, I'm kind of thinking that he might just be like the leader, because he has the crown, of the evil black version gang of, you know, Decepticon Autobot clones, or however you want to call it. So I'm thinking maybe he tells Rodimus Unicronus and Nemesis Prime what to do. He's like their leader. So I don't know, just some headcanon I made up. Might be fun. Anyway, this is a staff that he comes with. I think this thing is really cool. You can see it has the 5 red tips painted very nicely, very gold, a couple pops of silver. And then how this works, you can see a little pop of silver down there as well. This piece slides down, and this is where you peg in the 4 Prime Masters. So let's go ahead and take a look at those 4 Prime Masters. So, and I have the pamphlet here because I want to make sure I get these named right. This is Amalgamus Prime. And these are really nicely painted. You can see the face there is painted pretty well. I'm going to try to get even closer for you. I mean, it's such a tiny little space, but they actually paint it pretty nicely. And then, of course, when he transforms, there is the Prime Master side, face. I never really know what to call these. With Titan Masters, it was easy. They were heads. Alright, next up we have Nexus Prime. And again, another really nicely painted face. They're so tiny. And then the front of this is really nicely painted as well. Then we have Prima Prime. Fortunately, he's a little loose there, but hopefully that's just mine. But that's really cool. I like the paint job on this quite a bit. And then this guy is literally just called the 13th. So again, I'm wondering if that's a comic thing and I'm just behind. It probably is. But he's painted pretty cool. I like the silver hands. He's got silver paint on his kind of waist connector there. The yellow is nicely painted. And then when you transform him, he's really nicely painted there. So I like that quite a bit. I love that he comes with 4 Prime Masters. I think that's really cool. Now you can see in the chest here he has a matrix, just like the other Primes. And you lift this up and it comes out. And just like the other Primes, it's not really a Prime Master. It's just one of those enigmas that just kind of is uniform and does not transform. But you can certainly, if you wanted to put one of these Prime Masters in, you certainly could. If I can get this in here correctly. And I think that looks pretty cool. I like that color combination there. So I'll put this back in. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think this looks good too. But I always like that you can take those out and put in other Prime Masters. So let me zoom out here. Alright, so basically you're going to pull this down. And then this is a little tricky. You kind of have to bend them at the waist and kind of pop them in because you want to obviously peg the feet in on these pegs, but you have to get the head up inside there. So it's kind of a weird... I guess I should do it like this. And then you kind of have to push in like that. I mean, the nice thing is once they're in, they stay in pretty good. Apparently I'm having trouble getting his head in there. There we go. And then pop in the last one. Like I said, it's a little tricky, but once you line it up, you can get it to go. Alright, I bent this one wrong. Come on, buddy. Okay, he does not want to bend correctly. Does his head not fit in there? There we go. So like I said, it is kind of difficult to get them in, but once you do get them in, I mean, they are snug. They are not coming out. There's literally nothing you could do. Honestly, just trying to pick them out later will be difficult. But you're left with something really neat. I think that's really cool, having the 4 Prime Masters just tucked in there like that, and it looks really, really cool. Now what we can do is go ahead and give him the scepter. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't really peg into his hand at all. You just kind of have to... I mean, he holds it fairly well. But I kind of wish there was just like a tiny peg or something so you can peg it in. But overall, he does hold it fairly well. So it's really cool. I like the staff quite a bit. I'm going to put it off to the side for now. The next thing I want to focus in is the helmet. Yeah, the crown. I mean, it is the same head sculpt from Optimal Optimus, just painted to look like Optimus Primal. But it looks good. Really nice paint job and everything. But this crown is really, really cool. I mean, you have the nice Maximal symbol there on the top. You have these kind of pieces here that kind of look like Optimus Prime, which I kind of like. And of course, the whole thing is painted very nicely. So I think they really knocked it out of the park with the crown. Now, unfortunately, he can't transform with the crown on, so you have to take it off for transformation, but it fits on pretty nicely. Head can move from side to side. Doesn't really have any back and forth articulation because it has a piece that folds down for the transformation, so it's really just side to side. You have shoulder movement here, as well as there's kind of 2 shoulder joints, so this can go in and out here, and then also over here it moves. You have an elbow bend, the hand can spin around, you have the fingers that open is one solid set, and then you have the thumb that can move back and forth. You do have a waist swivel right there. You have out to the side and front to back for the hips, although I kind of wish that the hips had a ratchet because they're a little loose on mine. They're not terribly loose, but I feel like they are a little loose. Knees like that, and then you have a tilt as well as up and down in the ankle. So overall, pretty good. He's got a lot of nice articulation. And I really think he looks great. I mean, just taking him in, all the paint applications. You do have a couple stickers, but this is all paint here. This is paint here, except for these 2 tiny little silvery stickers right there on the kneecaps. He does have the Optimus Primal that hangs off his back, but the other mold had that as well. Oops, he became unpegged. He does have these 2 guns down here, which he comes with them. This is how he comes in the box, with them on the side of his legs, and you can store them there. Of course, you can take them off, and they can peg in a couple places up here. You can actually peg them here on the shoulders, if you would like. And that looks pretty cool. I like the look of that. Like on the original show, you can have this section kind of drop down a little bit. And then you can peg them in here on the front. Because in the original show, Beast Wars, that would drop down, and then this would be like a targeting sight right here. So you can kind of recreate that, which is pretty cool. And then this just accordions back up. This piece accordions around so much in so many different modes, but we'll see how that goes in a minute. Now also, these panels up here can come off. They come up there in the box, but they're meant to go on the back of the forearms. You can see that there is a large rectangle tab, and so there's a long rectangle tab here. And you just go ahead and pop those in. And they stay pretty securely. And if you want to leave it like that for the elbow articulation, you can. If you want to go like this, and then you can spin the arm, but then that kind of locks your elbow. But you can still have the elbow come in like this. So that really kind of works more for the monkey poses. We'll get there in a minute. But yeah, he's got really nice oops, sorry about the camera there. He's got really nice articulation. And I think he looks great. The paint looks great. Just overall, I'm impressed with him. Like I said, this is my first time experiencing the Optimal Optimus toy as a whole. But the articulation's good. I mean, yeah, he does have quite a backpack, and it just feels like the robot just kind of hanging off his back. But with this, I feel like it's even more excusable because the paint scheme is unified. From my understanding, obviously this is fairly similar, but the rest of Optimal Optimus, the normal toy, is that kind of yellow, orangish, blue color. I'm sorry, yellowish, orange, and blue color scheme. So that's a little bit more jarring. But in this rendition, because it's all kind of a unified color scheme, you don't notice that hanging off the back as much. So I feel like it works a little better than usual, which is nice. But overall, I love this giant robot mode. He looks great. I love that you have a couple places you can put these guns. I love the giant staff with all 4 of the Prime Masters. So far this guy's looking great to me. Let's go ahead and check out first we'll do the monkey form with the surfboard. That's right, you heard me right, with the surfboard. So I've removed all the accessories, including the crown, because unfortunately you can't leave the crown on for the transformation. The first thing you're going to do is turn the head 180 degrees, and then just fold it back into the chest, and it'll just lay down flat like that. You're going to turn the forearms here, and like I said, you can kind of get it ready for a monkey pose. Turn the wrists around. Something like that. You're going to come here. You're going to kind of lift this section out. And this is going to, again, you kind of have to play with it, but it will accordion around so you can see that this circle tab will fit into this piece here. And so that'll stick straight out like that. Then you're going to lift this up and bring this down, and you can see that there's 2 large tabs right here, and they're going to peg into these tab slots right here. So you just kind of straighten that all out, and at that point you're just going to lift this completely off. And so this is your giant surfboard. So you can just go ahead and put that down for the moment. Then you're going to rotate this whole section forward. Oh, I'm sorry, you actually rotate it back. The reason I thought it was forward is because you're going to rotate this 180 degrees at the waist, and I just did the steps out of order. So once you rotate it around, then you would rotate them forward. Then you're just going to kind of bring the monkey hands back around. You're going to turn the monkey head inside 180 degrees and then pull it out. I think it's easier to turn it inside the body because the directions have you do that instead of turning it around outside. And I think it's because of his big chin. So you don't want to scrape the chin into the abs here. And then pretty much the last step at this point is to just kind of collapse the legs a little bit. So you're going to kind of bring this down. And these are really tight. I don't know if I'm doing this wrong. I feel like there's no release or anything. But to kind of get this to unclick. And they're loosening up with time. But they just kind of accordion in a little bit just so that he's a little bit less tall in the monkey mode, gorilla mode. See what I'm saying? Like, that one's just really tight. And I'm always afraid I'm going to break something. And then you just kind of fold these as best back as you can. And there you go. You have your monkey. And there you have that. And then you have the surfboard. Now he does have 2 sets of pegs right here, and then right here and here. And that is going to peg into these tab slots on his feet. So if we go ahead and pop this on here, and it's a little finicky, but you can get it. So tab this into this. I promise it does work. Okay, I got one. I got the other. That's 1 foot in. I got this one, and this is where those ankle tilts really come into play. But there you go. You have a giant monkey on a little surfboard, and you can kind of turn his head so that he's looking forward. You can even really turn the waist if you want as well, which is nice. So, surfing monkey. He's a flying surfboard. Look at him go. He's having fun. So I think it looks cool. It's definitely off the wall. And it's kind of a nod to Transmetal 2 Optimus, because he had like part of his legs turn into a surfboard in the monkey mode so he could fly. Because all the Transmetals had like a beast mode, a vehicle mode, and a robot mode. So this is kind of a nod to that, even though this is technically his third form. But I just think it's neat. I think it's neat they included it. Obviously, they didn't know what to do with the Optimus Primal because you just have two monkeys next to each other, and that didn't really fit the aesthetic of like smaller vehicle trailer combined together. So, you know, the larger gorilla is the trailer. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, this is fun. I think it's goofy. Oh, I forgot to turn his fists around. There we go. You want his thumbs on the top. That looks better. But yeah, I think this is fun. It's definitely goofy, but I think it's fun. Alright, so the next configuration we can do involves taking off the surfboard, which can be a little bit more daunting than it seems. Okay, there we go. So then you're going to want to take this and extend this part out. And you can see that there are two peg holes right here and two pegs right there. So you just kind of drop that on like that. You come around to the back, and you can see there are two grooves here and here, and there are two pieces right here and here, and you just slide that into the groove. It's a little bit easier to do if you just kind of move this stuff out of the way. And so you line this up, if I can do that. It can be easier too if you just swing this part off and then reconnect it in a minute. And then I will straighten out the monkey head. And then take the two guns and just attach them to the top. And so this most closely resembles the monkey form from the original toy, because it had the guns on the back like that. And again, it does just have a giant backpack, but what are you going to do? You don't have to connect it on there. You can leave the monkey, just put the surfboard off to the side if you really want to. But yeah, this is another form the direction to show you, because this is kind of what the original toy was like with the guns on the back. I like it. I think it looks pretty cool. It definitely gives them some bulk. And again, I feel like the backpack you can get away with it a little bit more because of the unified color scheme, but overall pretty cool. Alright, so the next thing I want to show you, just go ahead and take this backpack off completely, and then you can take your monkey body and just kind of put him off to the side for now. And we're going to focus on this section. So we're going to take the guns off and just kind of put them down right here for now. We're going to straighten this back out and kind of peg this back in. We're going to unhook it there, and then you can kind of just let it hang down for the moment, but you're going to fold down these parts right here, and then fold up these shoulder pads, and then just kind of straighten out the arms, straighten out the legs, and then open up this chest piece, rotate out the head, and then close it back up. And then this section, you can see that there is a large tab on the back, and there's a tab slot right there. So you just kind of lift this up, and you do kind of have to accordion a little bit, and then you just plug that in and make sure this back part is up here. I've completely unaccordioned this, not intentionally. Okay, line up, condense down, there we go, there we go. I also like the holofoil stickers on the side there, if I haven't shown them off yet. Very cool. But yes, here is your Optimus Primal smaller version. So this is like your Orion Pax or Hot Rod. here is the Optimus Primal. Now you can take these and he can wield these as like club weapons. Or if you really want to, he can just hold the peg on the bottom and use it as a gun. Completely up to you. I think the directions suggest him using them as melee weapons, but you could certainly use it as a gun as well. But yeah, I like it. I really like the color scheme. I think they did a great job with the feet and the legs. Really reminiscent of the original toy. And I think they did a pretty great job with this head sculpt. Really looks like the cartoon accurate Optimus Primal head from season 1. The chest looks good. You have a big Maximal sticker there on the one shoulder. Now he does have kind of a large backpack, and unfortunately there's not much you can do about that. But I still think it looks cool. I think they did a pretty good job with the robot mode. And the backpack makes him a little back heavy, but you can get him to stand. Now in this mode, he does have head can swivel from side to side. You have the movement there in the shoulder, in and out. I thought you had a bicep swivel because it kind of looks like you do, but you don't. You just have a ball joint in the elbow. Waist does not move, but he has out to the side hips, front to the back hips, thigh swivel, and then a little bit more than 90 degrees in the knee because of the transformation. Nothing in the ankles or anything. So I think it works. I think it looks good. And you can definitely get him to stand as long as you just balance him. But he does have quite a large backpack, unfortunately. I'm trying to see if there's any way you can disconnect this fully. I don't think so. So he just has a giant backpack. But overall, I think this mode looks pretty cool. So here are the two together. I think they look pretty cool. Just like a monkey robot and his giant monkey sidekick. It is kind of funny the way it works out because at least with Hot Rod and Orion Pax, like having the trailer, you know, you can just have a trailer set off to the side and that kind of makes sense. But it is kind of weird to have the robot and the monkey because it's like he split himself in two. I don't know. It's kind of weird. But I like the unified color scheme. I think it's kind of cool. Maybe you could just pretend like this is kind of like an exoskeleton that he controls, or it could just be a separate entity, kind of like how Skylinks turns into two. I don't know. Whatever you want your headcanon to be. Either way, it's a cool toy. We do have one more mode that we can check out, though. So we're going to take the guns out. You're going to take the Optimus Primal section and pretty much just turn it exactly back into the surfboard. So you're going to fold these down. You're going to turn these in towards each other. And then you can see that there is a tab on the inside of the hand. And that's going to tab into this spot right here on the thigh. So do that for both. Make sure it's lined up. There we go. Then you're going to bend here. You can see that he has kind of a double jointed knee. And you can see that there's a tab here on this side of the forearm, and that's going to tab in right there. So you just bring this up, tabs right in, tab that in. So now you kind of have this brick, and then you're going to bring this up, and this is going to condense in and connect back. And then the front section is going to pop down like this. So the front section is just a little bit down compared to everything else. Then you can take this and take the guns, and they will peg in up top here. Oops, that's backwards. There you go. So then this section is good. Put that off to the side. Take your monkey skeleton. Stretch out the arms. Take this. Turn the fists like this. Take the wings. Put them out to the side. That's right. You know where this is going. If you're a fan of Beast Wars at all. turn the fist to the side. Actually, I think you're supposed to turn them like this. It doesn't really matter for anything, it's just aesthetic, but I think you're supposed to turn it like that. Okay, you're going to want to take the monkey head, put it back inside, and then turn it around. Take this, fold the feet back, and then you kind of want to bring these down, and you want to unpeg this like just a smidge, just so that it sits a little bit more flat. So bring this down, and just kind of, you can put those to the side just for a minute, and put these like this. I believe you want to... Do you want to slide this up? Yeah, I think you want to slide these up. And they click into place. And then you have this. So this is how your body looks. Then you're going to bring this piece back in. And you can see that there is a tab and a tab slot right there. And that matches with this tab and tab slot. So you're going to... I think that one pegs into this down here. So you're going to kind of connect these on here. And I believe you can see these tabs here and here. I believe they're supposed to tab in here and here, but for some reason mine doesn't really want to. You can kind of do it, but I think it's just the nature of, you know, how everything doesn't, but you can kind of like just loosely tab it in, it's good enough. And then you can angle up these back wings to your liking. And then you have the jet mode that he would famously use a lot in Beast Wars. Now, in Beast Wars, he also had a tank mode, but I guess they couldn't figure out a way to incorporate that. So he just has the monkey mode, the jet mode, and the robot mode. But he also has the tiny Optimus Primal mode, so I feel like that takes the place of the tank. And I think he used the tank on the show maybe once or twice. He really didn't use it all that often. But I think if they were going to incorporate one, this is definitely the more important one to use because he used this a lot more frequently in the show. So I'm really glad they included this. I think this is really cool. And of course you can see that Matrix of Leadership there in the front. Like I showed off earlier. This just opens up little canopy and you can pop it right out of there. In the cartoon he had Optimus Prime's Spark, which I guess if he has the Matrix, you can kind of pretend he still does. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I like this mode. I think it's neat. Once again, I think it benefits from the unified color scheme. Overall, it looks pretty sweet. I think this toy is absolutely awesome. Even if you already have the normal Optimal Optimus version of this, I still think this one's worth picking up. The extra staff, the 4 Prime Masters, the crown, all really nice accessory pieces. The packaging for this one is really awesome. It comes with that throne that he can sit on with the wheel in the back that can store all of your Prime Masters to kind of give him the ultimate power. And I love the color scheme of this. I really do think this mold benefits from a unified color scheme because it minimizes the impact of all the backpacks in the various modes. And unfortunately, a lot of these modes do have giant backpacks because of how the Optimus Primal piece integrates into it. But with a unified color scheme, I feel like it doesn't stick out as much, and so it doesn't bother me. Now again, I don't have the normal Optimal Optimus version to compare these. I would love to do a side-by-side comparison for you guys. Whenever I do get the Optimal Optimus, I'll probably bring this guy back and then give you a side-by-side comparison in that, because I do plan on picking that up still, because that one has the kind of cartoon show-accurate color scheme, which I really do enjoy that color scheme. So I definitely want both versions, but I think this one is definitely worth picking up. I think this one has a lot of nice features to it and makes it a really nice piece for your collection. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, thank you so much for watching.